Shalom, praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakal Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great Muslim, rule well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work, sharing truth. You got this article going over this AI that's been released. I believe it's the one on Twitter, Grok, where it's the one being developed by Elon Musk, and people can pay to use it to produce video. And there's people who produce like a video. Go ahead of like Trump, I fucking know, Trump, Kamala, and Elon. I'll play a bit of it in a sec. What do you call it? But yeah, just these guys, like so-called robbing a store, like AI generated, from scratch. So it's basically showing the way this is like rudimentary, or elementary, because it's developed further from where it was before. Because the one that everyone points to a while back was like Will Smith eating, what was it called, spaghetti, and that was like 2 years ago, maybe even less. But now it's like developed to where there's far more capable videos being produced relatively like easily, and that's just on the consumer level. Because all these things you're going to have it developed at a much higher level for like military and private use. And in that case, you're not even aware there could already be shit that's been generated out there, being used, or could have been generated and then touched up. And then that could already kind of be flying around like it's normal. And then, people don't know, especially if you bring the video quality down. If it's not like HD, if it's like a low quality video, they could easily get away with it. So as on Indy 100, it says Elon Musk's own AI system creates video of him and Trump committing armed robbery. So it says Elon Musk's own AI system Grok has created videos of him committing armed robbery, and it's surprisingly realistic. And I'll play a bit. I don't know if they've got what's it called, thingy detection, copyright detection. I'll just play a little bit. I had to mute it. Fuck it, let me refresh. And then,
when we standing on business.
Okay. Mute. So yeah. It's like AI generated. Where it's got Kamala, it's got Trump, it's got Elon as well. I think you tell it's like Elon. And it's all like AI generated. Yeah, that's Elon. And that's especially because this is kind of like recorded, like it's from a what's the word? Like a CCTV camera. That's what we call it over here. I don't know what it would be. Surveillance camera, I guess. Which are like lower quality. So you could easily kind of have those things being recorded, being pushed out as if it's official, but then people don't catch on because it's low quality, because they might just have someone go through, kind of like take out the imperfections. Because when you're playing it through, the what's it called, like the AI will notice like the movements and whatnot. Certain things will fuck up, but then this is the thing is like this is still developing, and that's the thing is once it kind of crosses the threshold of like it can start deceiving people. It's you have the two sides of it, where one is like people will think, oh, it's AI generated, But then it also means that you could have official, like actual recordings that people can be like, nah, that's not real, that's AI. So, especially if brothers start doing miracles, things like this, people think like, oh, it's just AI, blah blah blah. But then that also then means, if they can generate whatever the fuck they want. And it's like brothers out here, brothers do live streams, brothers are out there on the streets doing videos, going out weekly. So there's like endless footage for them to like train AI on to do whatever. But then it's again, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, but this, it's and I get into it. It's like you go back into Acts when the apostles were around before, 2,000 years ago. What happened? All these people came up against them. So same thing that happened back then will happen now. The servant's not greater than his master. Just as Yahushua was hated, will be hated. So they might try and tar us with, certain things. They might, AI generate certain things. It's something that, to be wary of. And then they could also try and have like, especially when it comes to the Charagma, try and generate like the apostles or something, saying like, oh, you can get it. Oh, actually, no, it says it. You can get some BS like that. Because why? This is Satan, and that's the thing as well. Is like this is just what is out there in the public. We don't know how, developed that shit is for in private spheres, military spheres. They could be doing all sorts. Because you already had, evidence of like AI generated things for what do you call it, like different conflicts to try and boost morale and whatnot. Very easily could have this used similarly, but the main thing I'm kind of looking at is as far as for brothers being out there, because there's what they use Grok, an AI service, chatbot developed by Musk's company XAI to create footage of Musk robbing a convenience store at gunpoint and also using a flaming gun. The AI generated clip then showed Musk in handcuffs being walked by police officers. Captioning the clip, they wrote, "Somebody said uncensored, thank you for Agora, let's have some fun." Said other clips showed Trump and Kamala Harris doing the same thing. Some viewers seemed concerned by how good the images were. This guy said, like, what AI has gotten so crazy, who knows what's real anymore? And that's the reality of it is. And it says what someone else argued. So this is the terrifying part. Like mine was read. So this is the terrifying part. No matter what side you're on, even if there were real video evidence of people committing crimes, it can be dismissed as AI. So yeah, what I was saying, with like actual as soon as it becomes on a level where it can be, confused as official footage, then it'll be like the real shit don't even matter. You might say, no, I got evidence. I got video logs of me here at this time. You can go and look the sun's up, blah blah blah, etc. You can go and see the recording was done during this time and this time on YouTube, and then they might say, no, fuck that. That could easily be false. You could upload it after the fact or whatever, and that's how mad But then that's time we're coming into, man. Because what we say, Matthew 24 and 24 says, "For there shall arise false Christ, let's say, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect." And yeah, that's these signs and wonders. It's if it were possible, it would deceive the elect. But then it's basically going to be put out there in the world, and people are going to eat up. They're like, damn, that shit's crazy. And that's the thing is they might have like, okay, we got detection systems, we got X, we got Y. We can verify this isn't generated, and then they can utilize that to kind of control what people see, what people's expectations are, how they kind of build idea of people, just like now. Because like back when you had, I remember it was it Syria? I think it was when the Syria conflict started forever ago. You had like RT exposing like CNN reusing footage from a different region and then saying that was happening in Syria, and they got exposed on that. So as far as for just having like all information out there, that's not something they desire. If they have it where it's like, oh, people are just like looking at everything like, nah, it's not real, it's all fake, it's BS, then it allows them to then control and be like, okay, look, these things are, basically restrict what people really engage with, which, going forward is is what they desire, man. Because the internet kind of like blew open the what do you call it, like information just kind of getting out there, especially with the apostles, with the truth, the word going out. That's something that super blew up, through the internet, and general all kinds of expose on what goes on within these, what were formerly private quarters, like Hollywood, like these different locations of the elites. All these things are kind of being exposed to where very easily, very quickly you can kind of see, and it's like conflicts around the world as well. That's one of the big ones, because I remember like growing up through the 2000s, the Iraq War was the big thing people were talking about. That was a big prominent war, and then you had information coming out just through like news, and you had like the startup of like the internet, but it wasn't really on the same scale. It wasn't like people didn't have smartphones as well. The lack of smartphones meant like for recording, it's like even brothers doing camp used to have actual like video camcorders, and then like even with video camcorders you used to have to like SD cards and micro SD cards and whatnot, and then record and then convert it, then upload it. Now you just with a smartphone you can just record either straight to the smartphone, you can stream from the smartphone. All those things have now come streamlined, which is why now you have it where it's like you'll have some some bombs drop somewhere, and then everyone's got a smartphone. Even in the so-called third world, everyone's got a fucking smartphone. So you're seeing like video recordings of what's going down. So all these things have kind of been exposed, and that's why the prophets are in the line of sight. It says Revelation 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So yeah, as it says, you'll be cast into prison and have tribulation 10 days. It's going to get real. Because why? The whole world's going to be coming against the brothers, the prophets, and then it's basically going to be a matter of enduring, man. It's going to be that time of trouble, that time of great tribulation, and then that's going to be what people are going to have to address. Well, I say people it's going to get on top for everyone. And then all this kind of disinformation, that's a huge weapon when used within chaotic scenarios. They really show that in the movie Leave the World Behind. Because Leave the World Behind, what was it? You had like cutting off the internet, cutting off like radio means of communication, and separating people can then make things fall into a state of chaos. Restricting the ability to move around with the it was the electric cars, the self-driving cars and whatnot. Gridlocking the city, so people are stuck in the city, and then it's getting raw, it's getting medieval out there. That really shows like how all that information, lack of means of communication, information can just completely flip things. And it's going to be on top, man. It's going to be peak. So Acts 12:1, it says, "Now about that time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. He killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he knew it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also, them were the days of unleavened bread, and he had apprehended him. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison. So yeah, Herod was, Saul was basically coming against the apostles, putting them to death, and throwing them in jail. Why? Because it pleased the people. And this was back in the time of Acts. And then it's why? Because they were coming in the name of Yahweh Shai, and prophesying against that place, prophesying of what's to come. And that's the same thing happening now. This is why all these people, people out now, one, they don't like us anyway, because we're teaching against this system, we're teaching against this this image, and that's what everyone's really under. And then as well is you're gonna have those circumstances, and the biggest one is gonna be the MOTB, that charagma. That's gonna be the key one. That's gonna be the separation between those of the elect and everyone else, because everyone else is just gonna be like, oh, just roll with it, just deal with it. Why don't you get down? And then they're gonna be stoked as well, because why? It's the same as with Yahweh Shai, where Yahweh Shai was despised, so we're gonna be despised. And then, just as you had the apostles, put to death, thrown in jail, you're going to have brothers now put to death, thrown in jail. Because what does it say? Hold on. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. So yeah, it pleased the people. And that's the other thing as well, is it pleases the people. That's what they desire, to see. They want to see, they're going to be like, yo, fuck these guys. And that's, the reality of how it's going to come together, man. But then yeah, Matthew 26 and 59, it's like, and like I said, the key is Yahweh Shai. What happened to Yahweh Shai? That's going to be the same thing that happens with, the same thing happened to apostles 2,000 years ago. Same thing that's going to happen now. With those that are pushing His word. You always have, whenever you had there was the incident in the U.S. with the assassination attempt on Trump, where they said, oh, the FBI knew about this guy. Then over here in the UK as well, you had that guy that stabbed up like 13, 18 people or something, and then killed the 3 little girls. And then they said like, oh, he was known on like the police knew about him, or anti-terror knew about him as well. And that's always something you're kind of seeing. So, and I remember it's like when the riots and whatnot started, people saying like, oh, why don't you why don't you think come against, why are you always aware of these guys, but you're not grabbing them up, you're not throwing them in jail? And that's something I can see being applied, to the brothers, because obviously we've been out there teaching, obviously aware. These elites, they watch, they're clued in, they know, where brothers are at. They can keep an eye on these things, because they have access to all those back doors to get all that information. You go into any of these police cases, as soon as it's like with any of these so-called anonymous systems where they're meant to not put out your information, if the police subpoena it, then that shit will get delivered to them. So as long as it's high enough clearance, then they can just be like, they'll just have to give that shit over. So what does it say? Now that so Matthew 26:59 says, now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death. And yeah, they sought false witness. And that's what, now you think it's like the age of information, the age of smartphones, where everyone's got all that. But then that's also like been used, it's been weaponized through things like social media is one of the key, means by which that's completely scrambled and destroyed people's brains. People's brains have been completely fried. They've been decimated. They've been annihilated. To where it's like they can't even deal with information. They just kind of deal with what do you call it? What they've been, the little holes they've kind of been channeled into. To put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At last came 2 false witnesses. And yeah, just hella false witnesses. And that's going to be the same now as well. Just countless false witnesses going to just be out there, doing a madness. And that's shouldn't be a surprise. It should be expected. What does it say? Every brother will utterly supplant. Hey, there's men that, seem to be in this thing presently where this is going to be revealed, they were never actually a part of it. At last came 2 false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of the Most High and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Yahushua held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living power, that thou tell us whether thou be the anointed, the Son of the Most High, the Hamashiach, the Son of the Most High. Yahushua saith unto him, thou hast said, nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he hath spoken blasphemy, and what further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. What think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. And yeah, so they were basically looking for any means to come against Yahushua. Then what do they think? They'll pour in out every slimy false witness they could pull out of a gutter, out of a crevice, to come against Yahushua. And it's going to be the same thing. Could be a guy you never even seen. Could just be someone that just comes up and said, yeah, I was there with them. They could AI generate this guy into a video, and they said, yeah, these men were talking about this, that. And there's even how you have even currently, you already have it with like different messages, like WhatsApp and whatnot. They can generate, fake. It's that you can easily just like Photoshop together messages. If you have someone's account, you can just try and as long as how you can make fake messages, like with like the iPhone messages, with Android messages and whatnot. Like there's websites you can just go to produce like fake screenshots of certain things at a certain time and whatnot. So all that false evidence can easily just be brought together, which is why it's like, how aware, are people really that aware? Are they really that clued in? No, not really. Then they spit on his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands, saying, prophesy unto us, thou Hamashiach, who is he that smote thee? And yeah, so these just as Yahushua, it pleased them, to finally be like, yeah, we we got you on this. It's gonna be the same, for the brothers, man. In this time now, all these people in the world are gonna be, they're gonna be hearing, oh, is that what these guys are teaching? What? Now fuck these guys, etc. No, but that's why it's like you gotta be wary, man. Especially with how these video generation shit is working. You can't just trust every kind of thing you see. And that's really what, that level of distrust, of confusion really is, what's desired. But yeah, Yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom. Yabashim, Shabashim, Kakadash, Shalom.